Is Kesley. I forgot. My name is Kesley Anderson, and I have a little tidbit, a little fun fact for everyone as we're coming into the 12 days of Christmas with Michaels. I was so excited when they asked me to teach this class with Michaels and Cricut that I did a little bit of research, and I found out that over 2 billion Christmas cards are sent through the mail. 500 million Christmas cards are sent through email. That is a quarter of the number of cards being sent through email versus in the mail. Now, I couldn't find a statistic on how many cards are hand delivered, but the card we're going to make today is definitely a card that you will want to hand deliver. So let me go ahead and I will share my, I'm going to share my card for you that we're going to make today and talk you through it a little bit. Now, if you're going to craft along with me, I suggest you go ahead and open up your Cricut design space now. There have been some updates, so you might want to give yourself a minute to get it updated. Usually when I do a class, I do a presentation that's good, kind of walks us through what we're gonna do. But this class had so many different little parts, I thought we just needed to jump right in. So this is the project we're gonna make today, which looks adorable. It's a cute little box, 4 sides and a top. But watch what happens. I'm gonna see if I can do this in the palm of my hand. Watch what happens when I remove the top to the box. It explodes. And it explodes with layers of goodness and fun. So there is the outer box. Let me get to that so we can see the outer box. There is an outer box layer. As you can see, I've got it decorated. And then there is a large box layer. We've got some envelopes there we're going to make. A medium layer. Here we are with the medium layer and then the small layer. And all of that closes up together and folds in like that. And then you add a top on it. Now in the chat, I have added my Cricut profile. So if you want to click on my Cricut profile, that will take you to a web page. From the web page, you say, yes, go ahead and open this up in Design Space, and that will be my profile. The reason I'm giving you that is all my projects that we're going to work on today, I have I've broken it out into 3 different projects, and each one is in my profile. I have Joy McDonnell from Cricut with me, and she will be answering any of your questions for Cricut related questions. So she'll also pop some things in the chat. Now, the great thing about the webinar too is we use the Q&A. So that's where I keep my eye on the Q&A. So if you have a question that I can answer for everybody, go ahead and drop that in the Q&A. And that is also how Joy will answer your questions. So very excited for you guys to ask questions and answer those questions. So I'm going to go ahead and get us started and share my screen. And I've got Design Space open on my desktop here. Now I am working from my desktop, and if you are joining me with a tablet device or a mobile device, you can still work on the project with me. So here is the, here's my Design Space opened up, ready to go. And I want to show you guys, if you can't access the link, how to find my projects and my profile. You can, this on the home screen here, this box is the universal keyword search. So you can actually type in somebody's name and find their profile. So you can type in Kesley, and my name is different than you would expect. So the S goes before the L. It's like Elvis Presley, but with a K. Kesley, and my last name is Anderson. And when you hit enter, down at the bottom, you'll see like some projects and community projects, but there is only one community member with my name, and that's me, Kesley Anderson. So when you click on that, this will open for me, my profile, but if you click on it, it will open up my profile. It's just a different view because I'm looking at it as me. You can look at it as you. And these first three projects are the projects we're going to work on today. The explosion card, the exploding box accents, and the explosion card photo template, which I am so excited to show you because sometimes even Joy was like, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Sometimes you just do something and it's like, oh my gosh, this makes it so much easier. And that's one of them. So first project I'm going to open up is the explosion card for the holiday. And you can see here, I have a variety of images already on the canvas. So what you can do is select customize, and this will open up the project onto your canvas, and then you can modify and adjust the layers. Now, if you have Cricut access, this project, all the images I'm using will be included in Cricut access. If you don't have Cricut access, there is a fee for each piece of it. I think it's like 99 cents a piece, but you can always substitute it out for something that's free or something you've uploaded. So you don't have to use what I'm using, but this just makes it super easy. So the project, as I showed before, I'm going to stop sharing so I can show you. The project has these inside layer pieces, these 3 pieces here. And that's what I have up on my design space. So I've got it in 3 different colors, a red, an orange, and a yellow, because each layer I cut from a different color. So it's up to you. You can cut them from the same color or different colors if you'd like to. So you have these 3 different colors. Now, within each layer, I have some extra special goodies. So let's take a look at the medium layer here on the right. Now, one thing you should notice is that I've got to find my medium layer. Here it is. If you haven't been in Design Space recently, or if you're new to Design Space, these are new features. We can now rename layers in Design Space and make it specific to what you're working on. So you want to just look at you want to find the medium box insert layer, and then you'll see there are some pieces in there that have the eye crossed out. That means those are hidden pieces. So when I open that up, you can see that piece that I'm bringing in. Now with the medium layer, I'm going to kind of move these out of the way here as best I can. With the medium layer here, I have this little half pocket that we can add to the medium layer, as well as these little accent pieces that you can unhide and add onto your piece if you choose to. So those little accent pieces, I'm going to go back and show you those little accent pieces, how they work. So like on this layer, this is one of the accent pieces. This is our half envelope here that I've got on the medium one. I think I've got accent pieces on both of those. Yeah. So those are the accent pieces if you want to cut some of those out on the side. Now, one thing I want to point out to you, the accent pieces are all attached together. So they're going to cut out like all together. If you're working with layered paper, not layered, lined paper, like your design has a specific direction, you're going to want to detach those and rotate them. And I'm going to show you how to do that, because if my paper, let me grab my paper here. If the paper I were using had a specific direction in here, and I cut the 4 corners out like this, it would cut upside down when I go to, would it cut it upside down? I don't know if it would cut upside down. It wouldn't. I can't think. I think it would cut it upside down. So when you go to apply it onto the piece, it's going to be upside down. So let me show you, if you want to detach any of the pieces, you can detach them. So this piece here has those 4 little accent squares on each box. And if you look at my layers panel, those are all, are they attached? They're not attached together. So, but when I send it over to my prepare screen, let me show you what's going to happen. When I send it over to my prepare screen on those orange ones, see how they all turn around into different directions? So if I'm using paper that has a specific direction, then they're going to be all discombobulated. If you're using a solid color, you don't have to worry about it. It'll cut out fine. So you just want to make sure that if you are sending them over onto directional paper, that you then rotate each one or move them. What I did is I just took this top one and did on my keyboard like a control copy. So I copied that layer and then I pasted it out 4 times onto a new, kind of making that a new layer. And then I grouped that together. And then I moved it like that. And then and then you group these 4 pieces together like that. And you say attach. And what that does is that holds their position relative to each other. So when it comes over to your prepare screen, they're all together. So let me come back here and I'm going to hide this layer. So now I have my little insert envelope and my accent pieces. And when I send that over, I have my envelope and my accent pieces are all facing in the right direction. So I want to show you that as you're cutting out. And then the other part I want to show you as you're cutting things out is I'm going to do the outside of the box as well as the top of the box. So let me find my outside of the box. That's the first thing I'm going to cut. I always like to give you guys a little bit of advance notice because I know some of you are more experienced crafters and maybe you're Cricut pros and you're like, yeah, I can do that. I know how to do that. So if you are, you can go ahead and start cutting. Here's my box top layer. So I just find the box top layer and I open that up and I'll show you this is my box top. And then I just need to find my other layer. It's in here. I need to find my box layer. So I have my box top layer and I'm going to hide this one and I need the outer box. Here we go. Okay. So this is the first part I'm going to cut. And on my envelope, you see these, all these different pieces here. The box top itself is underneath. It's that light green color. And then I have these additional pieces that you can use to layer onto your box top. So I've got these little pieces here that you can layer onto your box top. You can do a single layer or a double layer. I'm only going to do a single layer. So that second layer here, this top layer, I could hide one or both of those layers. So if I just come over here and hide a layer, I'll get my top and my sides, as well as the actual top of my box will cut out. And then on the outer piece of it, I'm just going to cut the outer piece and I'm not going to cut the little pieces on the inside yet. You can go ahead and do that if you'd like to, or if you'd like to hold off on that until you assemble your box, you can always hide that layer by coming into the layers panel and finding your large outer box layer and just hiding that outer box side panels. When you hide a layer and you send it over to your prepare screen, it won't make it, like it won't cut that layer. So right now I'm going to cut the top, the outer layer and the little side pieces, and then the top of the box. Now, again, I've got a little problem because my outer box pattern has a little bit of a pattern, although it's not directional. So I think I'm going to leave it as it is. If you wanted to, you could hold the position of the top pieces so they cut if you're in a direction. But we're just going to go right on over to our canvas. I've got these different layers. Now this little piece here, I bet you I can get that to fit on the second mat and cut it one time. And to do that, I just click on these 3 little dots and I say move object. I move it to that second mat and I say, yep, that's what I want to do. And then I just move it on the mat. And now I've got everything will cut on 2 mats only. And you could even move these pieces around. So if you wanted to make sure that they were cut on a horizontal instead of vertical, you can do that and just move them around like this and resize them, you know, just rotate them around. I always get them a little bit crooked because you have to do this manually. That's why I suggest you do it on the canvas and attach. But, you know, sometimes you gotta live on the edge. So let's just do this manually here. And we'll rotate all these around. Now these will all cut in the same direction as my outer box will cut. And my paper I'm using actually a 2 double-sided paper. So it's great because I can get more use out of that one piece of paper. Sorry, I've got to get that right there. Okay, so now those are going to cut out. My outer piece is going to cut out and my top is going to cut out. Now I'm cutting on a Maker 3. So I have the option to use the rotary blade that has the scoring wheel on it, or I can use my scoring stylus. So I'm going to choose a medium cardstock. If you're using a Maker and you don't have the single scoring tool, you can edit your tools and change it to a scoring stylus. So I'm going to show you how first I use the scoring stylus on the first material here on the green, on my top, and then I'll show you how I just use the stylus for the outer box part. So you get to see both of them. So now that I've got that done, my machine is flashing, it's ready to go. So I'm going to switch over to my overhead camera so you can see how this goes. So what I've got here is my cardstock, and I'll be using my outer layer is a decorative color. So I'm going to grab my blue cutting mat, and I use a blue mat because it's got a lighter grip to it, so it doesn't hold your paper as hard. So whenever you're working with paper, you want to use a lighter grip matte paper. And you can see my paper has 2 different colors to it. Now, don't go trying to find this paper. I went into my stash of supplies. I bet everybody as crafters, we all have a big stash of supplies. So I went into my stash and pulled this out. So on my Maker 3, I'm going to replace my B blade, which is my fine tip blade, with the rotary blade. That is the scoring blade, not the rotary cutting blade, but the rotary scoring blade. Now I do have my stylus in clamp A. So if you don't have that tool, you can just put your stylus in clamp A, and I load it in, and I'm going to go ahead and load that in. So the first part it's going to cut is, oops, you know what? I don't want to cut this one. The first thing I want to cut is my box top. So, and that does not get cut out of this. That gets cut out of my green. Good thing I cut that. Okay, so let me unload that, and I'll take my pattern paper off. My first is going to be the box top, and I'm just going to line that up. Now, you want to make sure that your paper does have a good grip on your mat so it doesn't slide. And I use this little brayer tool from Cricut to make sure it sticks down nicely. Okay, so that's going to do this, and I'm going to bring that in. So this is the first part it's cutting is just the green top here. Now, while that's cutting and scoring, now I'm going to take this out so you can see it's just going to use my scoring blade right there, my wheel. So it'll do the scoring first, and then it will stop and say, okay, put your blade back in. Now, one thing I like to do when I'm using cardstock is I like to keep my fine tip blade pretty clean. So I will kind of push it out a bit and just make sure there's no paper debris on it. Sometimes if you're cutting a lot of paper and it gets intricate cuts, it can get a little dicey there. Okay. So now it did all the scoring. And it's telling me now, my design space is saying, take out your rotary blade and put in your fine point blade. And I'm actually going to put my rotary blade. I keep saying rotary. Sorry, my scoring wheel. I'm going to put that in my case because I'm not going to pull that out again. Good to go with that guy. So it's going to cut this out. Okay. Okay, so now I just unload that one. And when I remove cardstock from my mat, I always turn it over and peel the mat from my cardstock. If you've ever removed cardstock the other way by just pulling it off the top, going like that, your cardstock will curl. So you do not want to do that. You always want to turn it over. And I actually just am in the habit of turning everything over as I go. So I do that with my vinyl or anything. Now I'm going to share my screen again so you can see I'm on my second cut and I'm going to change it to medium cardstock. And it tells me to have my scoring wheel. Well, this time I don't want to use my scoring wheel. I want to show you all how the stylus works. So I'm going to apply that change. And now my light is flashing, ready to go. So I'll put my stylus in clamp A. This is your scoring stylus in clamp A. Put that in there and it clicks in. And now I'm just going to push my paper through. Now, while that's going through and doing all the cutting and scoring, we're going to talk about our box top and how to put it together. So you've got these score lines and it's really up to you which way you like to put it. You know, you can do it, push everything down away from the score lines or push everything towards you. Either way, just be consistent is kind of my motto. My paper does have a texture on it, so I'm going to try and use my texture to the outside of all my project today. And if you have a wedge tool like this, you can take your wedge and run it along those score lines just to kind of get your score a little bit stronger if you want to. You do not have to do this, but it does make it a little bit easier. So I've got my 4 score lines here. Now these little tabs on the side are for our adhesive to make the corners of our box. So again, I'm just going to fold those over. Okay, now this time it won't stop because the scoring stylus was in clamp A. So it didn't stop. It just went right on to do the cutting. So now my machine is actually cutting. So Tara, are you on my project? If the box top is called, it's a layer, and I can't get into design space, but the box top is, I think it says box top on it. So just scroll through the layers panel and you'll find the box top layer. And you just have to turn on the eye next to the layer to get it to pop up. Okay, so these all came out beautifully. Now, one little trick I learned in doing this is you want to apply your accessories or your decorations to your base while it's still flat. So you don't want to put it together and then try and glue pieces on. It'll save you a little bit of a headache. So I'm just going to take that piece off there and set my mat to the side. So what I like to do here is I'm going to go ahead and apply my pattern side. So this is the opposite side of this piece of paper. So I have a different look. You can cut this out of solid cardstock if you want. This is a great use for if you have a piece of paper where you're like, oh, I don't like that side of the paper. I'll never use that. Then you can just glue that down and it just goes right on your design. Now I'm using the Ultra Bond adhesive. I love this stuff. For bigger pieces like this, it is great. So I just put a zig on the back and then I'm just going to apply that right to the center. And it dries pretty quickly, but you do want to make sure that you press it down and it will dry clear. So these little glue bits on the side, that will dry clear. So don't worry about that. It might be a little shiny, but it dries clear. So then we're just going to do the same thing here. Put a little glue on this one and turn them all over and put our glue on. Now, sometimes, usually when I'm crafting like this, I would cut everything out, oops, and then put it together after I've cut it all out. But we're going to do it as we go today. So now I'm just going to take my side pieces here and apply those on each of the sides. You just put that on.
Leslie?
Yeah.
Do you know what size the final box is?
Oh, good question. I think it's about a 3 by 3. So you could take all of the layers, open them all up, like your outer layer and your 3 inner layers, open them all up and then enlarge them if you wanted to go bigger. But I think it's about a 3 by 3 size. I can tell you in just a second. You can look at I'll put it on my grid here. It's 3.5 by 3.5 is the finished outer size of it. Good question. I should know that answer. Okay, so once I've got all those, all my side pieces glued on, then I'm going to go ahead and put a little adhesive on my side tabs. Now, this is where I get a little tricky. Not tricky, but you don't want to have to hold it and stand there and wait for it to dry. So what I do is I put a little glue on, a little dab will do ya. Don't need much here. But my trick is I have my little sewing clips to the side. Now, if you don't have sewing clips, you can use a rubber band around it. I use sewing clips a lot on gluing. So I just going to take my clip and I'm going to clip on the inside there and clip that together. And then I'll just move my way all around the box and clip that together. If you don't have clips, like I said, you can use a rubber band. You could hold it together if you need to for a couple minutes. Do it side by, each side as you go. It's totally up to you. Now we do only have an hour for this class, so I have a few things already cut out. If you're crafting along with me, keep cutting and keep crafting, because don't forget this class is being recorded, so you'll be able to go back and watch the recording. But I don't want you to miss any of the assembly bits of it. So now this is all together, and then when it's dry, I already did this one ahead of time so I could show you. When it's dry, you just take off those clamps and your top is nice and dry, and you can do a decoration on your top if you want to or not. But that's how you do your top. Now your inner piece here, with your scoring stylus, you did your score lines, and you'll have score lines down the middle here. I don't know if you can, it's really hard to see it. You'll have score lines down from that side, that side, that side, and then a score line from the corner out to the curve here. And all you have to do is I just fold it along each score line to make the box initially. So we just do all 4 sides. Now, I've seen some of these exploding boxes for different seasons, and people have gotten really creative with their corners. You can make it into like the shape of a butterfly or into the shape of a heart, anything like that. You can do a little slice on that and add some shape to your box if you wanted to. Now, once you've got your 4 sides done, they will turn in like this. You've got all 4 sides done. You have your corner pieces. Now, fortunately, our machine did the score line here. So all we have to do is close up to part where, you want me to go closer with my camera? Is that what that's asking? I can try. Like that? Is that what they're saying, Joy?
I'm not quite sure. I think so. I just asked Catherine if she could ask her question again.
Okay.
I think that's what she wants us to see a little closer to what you're doing.
Let me just, that's a little better, right?
I think that's better. Yes. Yes. Okay. She said yes. Thank you, Catherine. Sorry.
Perfect. Always good to know. Okay. So now this part here, it's the first time you do it, you're like, what? But then you're like, okay, I get it. Because what's going to happen is your box is going to close in and that corner piece is going to come in. So you're just going to take the corner and bring it in like that and match up your sides on the outside like this. And then inside you'll have that fold, and you just take your little tool or your fingers and you just go like that with it. And then you get that fold going right there. And we're going to do that to all 4 sides. Now, the cool thing, if you don't have a little wedge like I do, I use a credit card in a pinch, something that just has like a smooth edge there. Your finger will work fine. A nail file will work fine. You know, you don't have to get worried about that. Okay, so now we've got all of our 4 corners done. And then from here, you're going to cut out the base of the large, the medium, and the small, which I actually have already cut out, but I've misplaced them already.
Kensley, they were on this stack on top of all the mats that you originally pulled off to the side.
Let me see if I can pull those back over. I think I tucked that underneath. I did. Here we go. All right. Thank you, Joy. So just to prep for the class, I went ahead and cut these pieces out. This is like the red, orange, and yellow. So you can use any colors that you want. And it does do the score line. So you'll have those 4 score lines on the side. And one thing I kind of wanted to point out is that it's not an exact square. So if you're working on this and you're like, oh, this inside part is a 2.5-inch square, your sides are a little bit bigger. So just keep that in mind as you're working. Now we've got our medium one, and I'm just going to do the same thing, score these lines in, and it's coming together. But here's the fun part. The fun part is adding all the embellishments to the box and really giving your gifter something fun to open. So we were talking about like, well, when would you use this, or who would you give this to? And Joy had a great suggestion to stuff it with cash for like your older kids who maybe like a game, you know, virtual purchases, maybe they're into gaming or something like that. And so a little envelope with some cash for their games, or their favorite, a gift card for their favorite store could go in there, anything like that. So you can, I'm going to show you how to add some envelopes to the side. Okay, so now I've got all my layers are cut out though, like that. All right, so we've got all those cut out, and I'm going to show you in Design Space. Again, I'm going to go back into my project, because in my project, I have envelopes that go with each layer. So I'm done with my box top layer, and I can close that out, and I'm done with the outside layer, and I can hide that. When I say close it, I mean I'm hiding it. So I'm just going to hide that layer there, and I'm going to hide my box top layer. Okay, so now I'm going to scroll down to my medium layer here, or my large layer. Let's go to the large layer first, and I'll turn on that little light, and I mean the eye. Now you can see on this layer, I have this little envelope with the side pieces. And when I open the down area, you can see here's the box inserts and the large box envelope. So if you want to cut those layers out, those are the layers you want to cut out. You've already cut out the exploding box background, so you can just hide that layer and just cut out the layers that you need. And these pieces here, I've actually already cut these out for us. These pieces here are the little envelope, as well as the little pieces that accessorize the size. And you can see it's got a rounded corner and flat here. So if I didn't change the direction of my pieces as I was cutting them out, it could cut it upside down. So when it goes onto the piece, it would be upside down. So this is the piece we're decorating now, this medium piece here. And I'm going to go ahead and close that up so I can show you. I'm going to add my pieces to the side. Now I have that score line there. So you want to make sure that you don't get your you don't push your decoration, how you're going to decorate your side down into that score line. So you want to make sure that you leave a nice, about 1/4 of an inch all the way around. And when you close it up, you'll notice that it stays clear of the score line right there. So just keep that in mind as you put your embellished sides down, and you can choose which side you want to have showing. And then your envelope you've cut out, it's got these little flaps. So you just need to close the flaps, and your machine would have done the scoring on that part. So you can close up your flaps, and then you've got the top to come down on top of it. Now it did kind of latch a little bit, but I didn't love how it stayed closed. So I'm just gonna, I'll probably put like a sticker on there once I put my gift in there. And my gift in this little pocket would be some, a little bit of money for my kid to go play with. Sorry. So I just am going to put the adhesive on that curve there. I had a little bit too much in there, so I just kind of smushed that out a little bit. And then again, I use my little clips to hold it. Now you can use a glue tape or something like that. You don't have to use a liquid glue. You can certainly use your glue tape like this if you have that handy. You know, any adhesive that's good for paper is really what you want to use. Now I have these little ink pads next to me, and I just want to take a little bit of the ink pad and kind of distress this a little bit to give it a little extra accent. I'm just going to put that on the edge, and I'll do the same over here on my little stockings and put that on the edge. And the great thing about this box that I love is that it doesn't matter which side you turn it to. There's no like, you know, top right side to it. There is a top and a bottom, obviously, to each panel, but the overall design is not, you don't have a top and a bottom to it. So I'm going to put that on there. So as you can see, I'm decorating my sides before I'm going to put this into the bigger piece, before I put it together into that piece. I'm going to decorate all my sides here and make sure I get that together. Now with my envelope, it's going to be, I need a little something sturdier to adhere it in. So I'm going to grab my tape glider, and that's dried. So I can just put that down, see where your flap is. And then we're just going to go over it like this. Okay. And then I'm just going to apply that to my pocket here, to my side. So I use a variety of different adhesive styles. So I have, you know, good paper adhesive, a good liquid adhesive. Now, the fun thing, I grabbed, I think this is the book I was going to use. I'm not sure which one it was. I grabbed my stash of Happy Planner stickers. And what I plan to do is find, I had a little circle one. Let me find it. You could really use any of these. Like I could grab this one here, the Joy, and put that onto to hold that tab open. And the reason I'm still looking is I just need a piece of, I was going to put a little extra piece of tape underneath it. Here we go. Sorry, guys. I'm going to take, because I haven't stuffed that pocket yet, I'm just going to take a piece of my sticker paper out of my book that doesn't have a sticker on it. And I'm going to put this on the front like this. And then when I stuff my envelope, I can just remove my sticker backing, and that keeps it from sticking down until I'm ready. So I'm just going to put that there like that. Now, what if on this fourth panel, you wanted to put a picture? So this is going to go probably for my son. And I want to put a picture of him when he was a kid onto here. But how do I know how to cut it out exactly so it fits on that corner? Well, another project that is in my profile is a photo template. So what I've done is I've created a template that's 4 by 6. This was my, oh my gosh, this is a brilliant moment. I've created a template that's 4 by 6 and will fit on each of the different layers. So I can just take my photo and place my photo inside the template and get exactly the photo positioned how I want it to be, which is great. But then I'd have to go old school and use my yearbook skills and my grease pencil and then my paper trimmer, and maybe I'd have a corner rounder to go with it. So I did something different to make it easier on me. I cut out my template on my out of a sheet of cardstock on my blue cutting mat, and I placed these pieces of washi tape where the edge of my 12 by 12 sheet of paper was. And so I know exactly the edge of this template will line up exactly in that corner along the edge on my cutting mat. So I have my picture. I line my picture up and I get it just exactly where I want it to be. I pick up both my picture and my template. So I've got both in my hand. I bring my cutting mat in and I place my template on my cutting mat, lining up the top and the side. Okay. And then I can remove this template because this is, I don't need to cut this out. But now when I go into Design Space, let me show you in Design Space what I'm going to do. I have this, my projects, and I have the photo template, and I'm going to customize it. Now, any of these projects you can save to your profile and you'll always have access to them. So I'll show you how to save a project when we get there. So this is my, this is the small one. So I don't need, I'm not doing the small one and I'm not doing the medium one. I'm doing the large one, and I don't need the wording on it. I just need to cut out that window. So when I go to make it, it places it on the paper on my mat, and I'm going to say continue. And I'll be cutting with medium cardstock. Okay, and my light is flashing now. So let me bring back my machine so we can see how this goes in. Because this little trick here was great. So I'm just going to bring back my machine here. Okay, and then we'll open this up. Slide this in. So my picture, it may be off the mat a little bit. That's okay. If I needed to trim it there, I could do that with my paper trimmer and get it so that if I was worried it wouldn't be sticky, but even though that's not stuck down there, the rest of it is nice and sticky. So I'm just going to load that in. Now it will cut the outside of my frame on the mat, but I'm not worried about that. So you can just take one mat and you can use a Sharpie or whatever to mark where the corner of your template was when it was cut. Okay, so now I'm just gonna hit play, and it's just, this is just, you're gonna love, I hope you guys love this.
Kelsey, I love it because if you're gonna make a bunch of these to give out, you can, this just makes it so much faster and easier to make a bunch of them.
It does, and you don't have to think about like, well, did I cut my picture in the right way, or what, did I get it in the right position? And you can really just bang a bunch of them out. So now I just pop that out. Oh, and you know what? I picked cardstock. There actually is photo paper as a material. I should have picked photo paper. As you can see, it didn't quite cut it out for me, but that's okay. Let me do it. Let me do another picture and I'll show you photo paper. There I was talking about how easy it was. So let me grab my medium template. So that was my large one. So let's say I want to do one on the inside of my medium box. So I just get him framed up in there. Bring it over to my mat. Place my template on my mat, which then places my picture on my mat as well. Okay, so there we go there. Now let me change my materials to photo paper. So up here, I'll just change my material and I'll do a search for photo. So I'll just select photo paper. And then now watch on this one, it'll cut it all the way through this time. This mat is one that's been used quite a bit. So I wanted to make sure, because I thought I should take one that was a well-loved mat to put my washi on, because I think everybody's getting an exploding box this Christmas. And you know what the great thing is? You can change this around to match whatever theme you want to do. If you're working on, maybe you're still, doing something for Thanksgiving, or you want to do something for graduation, how cute would this be? And you can, so I just hand cut that one out. So you could see that one in the large, and this is my medium. So I just pop that out, and there it cut all the way around my photo. Oops. I did pick photo paper, right? When I cut it out this morning, it cut out so smoothly. Okay, there we go. So there's my picture now, and that would go on my medium like that. Yeah, there he is there. So that falls on my medium template.
Kesley, can you switch your view? I think your main view is...
Oh, am I still sharing?
It's okay.
Should I do it again? Let me just do photo paper again. I'll do it one more time. Okay. It cuts quickly. I want everybody to see it, because I think that this is a game changer. Okay, so let me stop share now. Okay, so I'm going to take, I'll do a small one. I've done one in each side. So here's a small picture. So even if I've done horizontal pictures, this is a vertical picture. So I'm just going to take that one. I put my template down on my on my mat. And there we go. Like that. You remove your template piece, put this in your machine. I'm going to go ahead and cut. And again, if you ever feel like if you've been cutting paper and it's not cutting through, you can always just check your blade and go, do I have a little piece of paper stuck in there? That happens to me sometimes when I'm doing intricate cuts. It will get stuck on there. Okay, so now this is going to do it. Okay. So I'm just going to cut this one through, and it'll just cut right there. And that one will go on my smaller box here. Oh, you know what? I chose a smaller template. That's funny. I chose a smaller template, and I didn't choose the template in my design space. So they're all going to be the medium template. I mean, the large template, which is okay. You guys get to see that. But that's how you can do that process. So let me find my large piece here. Okay, here's my large one. So I could just add that picture right onto the large right there using my gun. All right, so now that shows you how to do this little side pieces of a pocket with a little sticker on it, and your pictures. But now what if you want to add a little bit more of an embellishment? Something, let's say you want to do a little pocket like I did that has tickets coming out of it, like something like that. So in the medium template, this guy here, this size here, in this template, I have that little half pocket. But what I want to show you, I also have set up is a second project that has a third project actually that has embellishments on it. So if I go to my projects and I select the one that has accent pieces on it. And I'm going to customize that. It will bring that into my canvas here with different pieces that I kind of picked up that went with the paper. So some flowers, some trees, the reindeer. If you want to make your little tags have text in it, all you need to do is click on the text icon. And let's say you want to give somebody like they're going to get, maybe they just turned 16 and you want to give them a little car wash as a gift. So we're just going to add a text box and make sure that it's a writing style, because then your pen will write the text. So you don't have to do it. You can have your machine do all that heavy lifting for you. And if you're doing multiples of this, that's great. So you just add your text box, size it, select both the text layer and your tag layer, and you want to attach those together so that when you send them over to your screen, when you send it over to your machine, it will attach those all together and cut them as one. So you get all of it on one slide. And then you have these little tags here, which I'm going to go ahead and close those out for this project. But those were little tags I'm going to put to go together on the little trees here. But I want to show you how we're going to assemble and add these different elements and how the attach works. Once you've attached your text to your tag, how that's going to work in your machine. So I'm going to go ahead and say make it. And it'll make all these different layers. So I'll have my deers, I'll have my little coupons, I'll have the little trees and the little flowers to finish embellishing my box. So we're going to take the dinner and a movie and start with that one. So I'm just going to say continue, and you'll see that once I select my material, my medium cardstock, it will tell me to add a pen and clamp A, and then my fine point blade and clamp B. So when I do that, I'm going to grab my machine, my blue mat again. Gotta love the blue mat. It really gets a workout. Your blue mats will definitely get a workout. And this is where all those scraps of paper you've kept on hand over the years, you can put those to use. So I'm just going to put that right on my machine here, on my mat. Is that the right color? Yes, that's my right color. Okay. So now, instead of in clamp A, instead of having my scoring stylus, I'm going to replace that with a pen. Now, the glitter pens are really fun. If I were using a dark color, I might use the opaque. And you can use all different colors of the glitter pens. There's blue and red. I like the black. I use that one frequently. Okay. So I put that in clamp A, and then I slide this under. And we're going to do this and let it go through, and it's going to cut it out and do the writing. And again, I love to use my ink pad. So I'll probably do a little ink on this as I go. So now it's going to do the words. All right, now while it's doing that, I'm going to show you, once I've cut that, how to put this all together. I know I have not finished decorating it, but we have our finished version over here, which I will put the little embellishments in and let you see how that all comes together. But I want to make sure before we separate today, you know how to put the whole box together. So there it's drawing, and then it will cut all in one fluid motion. And if you have questions after the class, don't forget, you will get the recorded version, but you can always reach me on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, Kesley.365. And if you follow along with my profile, you'll see this project and all the other fun projects we've created with our Michael's classes. And I teach classes almost every Monday. So I'd love for you to join us on a Monday. If you can't join us, you can always sign up for the class. You do get the recording. even if you're not able to come to class, but also the recordings are in YouTube. So if you go on YouTube, you'll see all the different classes we've had over the years. So here, these are just going to cut these out. All right, I'm going to slide this up while that's finishing the cutting so I can show you how this is going to go together. So first you're going to take your outer part here, which we've already done the folding and everything, and your large box is going to go on that. So what I'm going to do is take my large box, and I like to put the adhesive on the piece I'm putting down onto the backing, because it's not an exact fit. So there is a little bit of edge that's left there, and you don't want to put adhesive all the way to the edge and then have the adhesive showing. So I'm just gonna use my glider there and put the adhesive on the 4 corners, and then I can turn it over, and you're just gonna line it up in the middle here and place that down. Now you do want to make sure that you have, it's got just a little bit on each side and it pops down. And if you get it wrong, you can always fix it. So here you go. See, it was just a little off there. There we go. So you're just looking for it to go on the inside of each of the boxes, and it'll just go right on like that. And then once that's on, we're going to put the next layer on. Now, normally I would have this all decorated before I put it on, but I want everybody to see how to assemble it. So, I'm just going to put that piece right in the center there. And then we're going to add this piece to the center. Okay, so I've got that piece on the center now. So now everything is going to come together into the box, and it folds up all together like that. And then we've got our corners that slide into the box actually like this. So that kind of holds everything together for you. And if you had some like slim candies, you could put some candies in here, anything like that. There's my top. Then I could just put slide the top right into there like that. Goes like that.
So cute, Kaz.
Isn't that adorable? I think this is, I don't know what happened to my other top that had, oh, there it is. It's got the clips on it. Here we go. This one has our little clips on it. Now I do want to show you our finished drawn layers and then give you one more walkthrough on the other box, but there we go there. These are our little layers here that did our tags, and you can put a little ribbon on it or something. And I got to tell you, I love using my pens to do my dirty work for me in my writing. Sometimes, especially if I'm in a rush, my hands, my lettering doesn't get as smooth as I'd like. So the pens are a great little tool there. And just don't forget to attach. That's how you get it to all come together. And then I can just use a little ink and ink the edges here, give a little distress look. I know Michael's had like the Tim Holtz distress ink is always great to use. But you can just, again, this is a great stash buster kind of card. So there's the dinner and a movie and a car wash, and I can just tuck those right inside the card, and those will just be tucked right in there. I added a little tree. This tree is in the embellishment project part of it. So I've added the little tree there, and then I would continue to embellish with the flowers and those polka dot trees on the outside edges here. You can add more little coupons if you wanted. I've got a couple more over here for a movie night, another free car wash. Those go right in there. And you've got your little box all set up, and all your embellishments are all there. You can tuck your cash in here, more pictures. And don't forget the outside edges too. Like you can definitely embellish on this outside edge of each of the cards too. So you can put a little picture there if you want, or a design or anything that you want to put on there, use your other supplies that you have. Like I was going through these books. I was like, oh my goodness, there's so many cute little designs I could do in here. You could even do this. I don't know how many. I'd have to count. Let's see, there's 4 in each one. There's 3 layers. So that would give you 12. You could do this as like a countdown, either if you're traveling and you're, let me just go, I'm going to stop share here. I'm going to turn this over. If you do travel, I used to travel way back when, and I would leave my kids and they always were like, well, when are you coming home? When are you coming home? So you could do this and have little numbers on the envelopes for like the first night you're gone or the second night you're gone. And then each night they could open it up, see some pictures, and open up a little note from you or something like that. So there's so many amazing, fun things that you can do with the explosion boxes. I can't wait to see what you guys create. I'd love to have you tag me on social media and let me know. But this is our little box today, and it is so cute and so fun. So thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you enjoy it. I can't wait to see the other, what are we on? This is the 11th card, so we have 10 more to go. So thanks, guys. Have a great afternoon.
Thanks, Kaz.
Thank you.